Tonight, Governor Sheriff Uborewere swears in Civil Service Commission Chairman, others. House of Assembly commends management of State Contributory Health Commission. Nigerians to pay for new General Multipurpose National Identity Card. And abroad, Chad military leader wins presidential elections. Welcome to Delta TV News at 8. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I am a Blessing Usiagbada. The State Civil Service Commission has been charged to tackle the ghost workers syndrome which bred absenteeism in the workplace and abandonment of duty posts. Governor Sheriff Uborewere gave the charge today at the swearing-in and inauguration of the chairman and members of the Civil Service Commission, as well as the Auditor General, Local Government, at the Government House, Asaba. Ejime Udweme reports.
Those sworn in were Chief Roslyn Amioku as chairman of the Civil Service Commission, with Mr. Ikechukwu Madwemeze as member, while Mr. Okpaka Ikena was inaugurated Auditor General, Local Government. The governor also inaugurated the boards and governing councils of some institutions and parastatals, comprising the Delta State Investment Development Agency, the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, the Delta State University, Abraka, the Delta State College of Education, Mosoga, the Delta State Polytechnic, Otefeoga, the Delta State Polytechnic, Burutu, and the Delta State Polytechnic, Ogwashuku, as well as the Delta State Trust Mortgage Bank Limited, and the Universal Investment and Development Company Limited. Speaking at the ceremony, Governor Uborewere said the civil service remained the major vehicle for the implementation of government's policies and programs, adding that an efficient and effective civil service must provide the necessary feedback mechanism for the development of the service and the state. He said it was imperative that the Civil Service Commission put the necessary structures and processes in place that would enhance productivity, promote professional work ethics, boost staff morale, and enable optimal resource utilization to satisfy the yearnings and aspirations of the people.
Trench a culture of discipline, erring officers as a deterrent to others without fear or favor. Accelerate the utilization of modern, valuable and affordable technology to enhance speedy, effective, timely service delivery.
The governor enjoined the Civil Service Commission to check the trends where some workers pretended to go on study leave with pay only to use the opportunity to relocate abroad. Governor Uborewere urged the new Auditor General Local Government, Mr. Okpaka Ikena, to uphold the values of integrity, independence, objectivity, impartiality, neutrality, confidentiality, and professionalism that were expected of the office. He challenged the board of the Delta State Investment and Development Agency to draw up a functional template that would attract credible investments to the state. Responding on behalf of the appointees, the chairman of the Governing Council of the Delta State University, Abraka, retired General Alexander Ogomudia, the chairman of the Civil Service Commission, Chief Roslyn Amioku, and the Auditor General Local Government, Mr. Okpaka Ikena, thanked the governor for finding them worthy to serve, pledging to bring their weight of experience to bear on their jobs. The wife of the governor, Mrs. Tobore Uborewere, the Deputy Governor of the state, Samonde Unyeme, and the Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Arthur Akpo, were among top government functionaries at the event. Ejime Udweme reported.
Chairman of the State Civil Service Commission, Lady Roslyn Amioku, has promised to take the state civil service to an enviable height in line with the more agenda of the state government. Lady Amioku made a promise following her appointment as the new state chairman of the Civil Service Commission at the Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. Gift Unosha reports.
She promised a more effective civil service, saying disciplinary measures will be taken to better the state of the civil service. The Civil Service Commission chairman advised civil servants in the state to be diligent, committed to duty, and work towards the development of the state civil service.
To make sure that the Civil Service Commission moves forward, the civil servants move forward. The governor has done a lot to uplift the civil servants. And we on our own, we are keen into his own more agenda.
She thanked the state government for finding her worthy to serve, pledging to justify the confidence reposed in her. Gift Unosha reporting.
The contractor handling the 500-seater auditorium at the Delta State College of Health Technology, Ofoma Ugeli, in Ugeli North Local Government Area, has been directed to stop work due to poor execution of the job. The special advisor to the governor on project monitoring, Dr. Goodnews Agli, gave the directive when he led top management of his office to monitor on ongoing projects in the state. Dr. Agli said it was imperative to stop the job due to architectural defect observed and failure of the contracting firm to use beams to fortify the auditorium, saying failure to address the observed challenges may lead to the collapse of the structure in future if allowed to be completed and put to use. He advised contractors to stick to standards or face severe sanctions. The executive assistant to the governor on project monitoring, Dr. Blessing Anamoto, pointed out that the job was done without strict adherence to engineering laws in erecting such a gigantic auditorium, and affirmed that imminent collapse was inevitable if the errors were not urgently addressed. The provost of the school, Dr. Augustina Era, thanked the state government for the project, appealing for the defect notice to be addressed speedily for the early completion of the job. Dr. Agli was also at the Delta State High Court building, Asaba, where he was joined by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Kingsley Emo, and the Commissioner for Works in charge of Rural and Riverine Roads, Mr. Charles Sanyago, who expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of the job. Other projects inspected by the project monitoring team included bungalows being built in the Commissioner's quarters and ongoing reconstruction, renovation, and beautification work at the Central Hospital, Ugeli. Staff of the Directorate of Project Monitoring and Audit have been advised to improve the workforce of the Directorate to justify the money spent on projects by the state government. The Special Advisor to the Governor on Project Monitoring, Dr. Goodnews Agli, gave the advice during a one-day capacity building program organized in his office in Asaba. Mr. Agli said the essence of the training was to equip staff with more knowledge and improve their skills in their field of endeavor. He noted that many projects had been executed by the state government, saying with the training, participants would be acquainted with knowledge on how to monitor and audit projects efficiently and effectively. The special advisor enjoined the participants to imbibe the tenets of proper project monitoring and put the knowledge gained to good use. The permanent secretary enjoined the participants to imbibe the tenets of proper monitoring and put the knowledge gained to good use. The permanent secretary in the Directorate of Project Monitoring and Audit, Mrs. Patricia Esejo, said the workshop was timely and necessary. Speakers at the workshop dwelt on structural and civil engineering, project management, roles and duties in various monitoring units, and background of project management, citing road construction as a case study. They noted that it was imperative that the Directorate worked in synergy with the House of Assembly to put up a permanent bill for project monitoring, emphasizing the need for more workshops. Some of the participants expressed satisfaction with the training and lauded the Directorate for the training, which they said would help improve their skills. The workshop with the theme, Effective Project Monitoring and Audit, featured interactive session. As part of efforts to reposition the transport sector In line with the more agenda of the state government, the Directorate of Transport has inaugurated the task force to enforce the use of QR code stickers by commercial drivers in the state. Henry Usiayo reports.
The State Commissioner for Transport, Mr. Agofure Onoriode, said the QR code sticker was the initiative of the data management system of the ministry to properly capture and profile commercial drivers operating in the state. Mr. Onoriode noted that the initiative was also to checkmate insecurity, as the QR code will enable passengers scan the code with their mobile phones and get the information of the driver. The commissioner called on all commercial drivers in the state to get the QR code sticker, as failure to do that after May 21st would attract penalties.
The QR code is actually a new innovative project that we want to kickstart, and the basic aim and objective of the QR code is to checkmate security challenges, because you are very aware that this current times and period will have a lot of security challenges across the country. So this is a method of checkmating and helping improve the security situation in the states.
Earlier in a training for the members of the task force, the Director of Data Management System in the Directorate of Transport, Comrade Fidelis Oso, said the inauguration of the task force would help enforce the policy, as it was meant not to put financial burden on the commercial drivers, but to ensure the safety of Deltas. Comrade also urged the task force to be diligent in the discharge of their duties and avoid any act that will bring disrepute to the Directorate of Transport.
This initiative has been on since January 2024, but we discovered that the process with which some of the drivers were actually complying with this initiative was not as much as we expected. That was why we went out today to do the enforcement on sensitizing them first before the task force will kick off with their task force implementation.
The Director of Transport, Data Management, Mr. Omoni Victor, led members of the task force to various motor parks in the state capital to sensitize them on the need to get the QR code sticker, which must be placed in a visible position in their vehicle to enable passengers scan it.
Fill the form and give it back to them. Then come with something on your vehicle. If you buy them, you don't say keep them. You buy them, you go keep them inside your motor. When are they enforced? Once I check your motor, you know they to arrest the person. So you better advise them.
Henry Usiayo reporting.
The state's People's Democratic Party, PDP, has said persons criticizing the Owerri administration must do so constructively and not turn a blind eye to his determination to complete ongoing projects by his administration, as well as those inherited, thus putting an end to the syndrome of uncompleted and abandoned projects. The PDP was reacting to a recent online publication by one Zik Gemre on the recent Okwama crisis and the setting up of internally displaced persons IDP camps. The party, in a statement signed by its secretary, Mr. Dan Osai, decried what it termed the impolite language used on the person of the governor by the author of the write-up, saying it lacked the rules of acceptable behavior. The statement noted that so far, the health institutions of the state were working. The primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions were all in top forms. 2,000 school teachers were employed across the state. Civil servants paid as at when due, with pensioners enjoying their pensions, even as road construction works were going on across the state, turning it into a huge construction site. It also cited the ongoing madden that the move yielded superlative dividends, with the recent announcement by Governor Sheriff Owerri himself that the Nigerian Army had finally agreed to withdraw from the community. It commended the administration of Governor Owerri for remaining focused on the committed underground moves being made to restore normalcy to the Okwama community and not pandering to the distractions being waved by devious elements who constituted themselves as sworn enemies. The statement said the state PDP was glad to have sponsored the governor to fly the party's flag in the gubernatorial election. adding that he contested the primary election against his opponents and defeated them in a free, fair, and credible election, going ahead to win the statewide governorship polls, even as he went through 38 court cases, which culminated in his victory at the Supreme Court. The PDP said the Owerri administration was doing well and called on Deltans not to allow themselves to be swayed by vicious gossip and improper use of the social media to attack the person of the governor. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori is resetting and repositioning government institutions and structures to enable him accomplish set out goals and sustain impeccable standards in governance and delivery of dividends of democracy to all Deltans. The Executive Assistant in Communications to the Governor and Head of the State Orientation Bureau, Dr. Latimo Ogenesiwe, made their session at the post-2023 governorship election meeting of executives and members of the Coalition for Media Politics and Governance, CMPG, held at the conference hall of the Bureau in Asaba. Dr. Ogenesiwe said the monumental achievement of the governor within 12 months in office underscored his unwavering commitment to advance Delta State in all ramifications, adding that priority attention was being given to all sectors of the state economy, citing mega road projects including bridges and flyovers. He stressed that the administration was focused on quality service delivery across board, adding that the governor was resetting and repositioning governmental structures and institutions to enable him to deliver qualitative and quantitative dividends of democracy to the people. The executive assistant urged the CMPG members to therefore deliberately intensify efforts in projecting the visible achievement of Governor Oborevwori, emphasizing the need for Deltans to know all the projects the administration was executing and inaugurating with taxpayers' money at all times. He said there must, of necessity, double effort and be tenacious and unwavering in their daily media activities by saturating the traditional and social media space with content of completed and ongoing projects of the administration as it moved towards its 1-year anniversary. The need for sustained advocacy to all stakeholders in addressing the problem of climate change was the fulcrum of the third Roundtable on Sustainable Development organized by the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, EFRUN, for Sustainable Development, FUPRE, CSD, held at the university campus. The program, with the theme Climate Change and Energy Transition, Pain or Gain, saw the investiture of the Director General and CEO of the Delta State Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Isaac Akweveta, as FUPRE CSD new partner, alongside the State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejiro Jamani, among others. Chairman of the DSCHC, Dr. Austin Obidi, was also installed the FUPRE CSD new SDG champion, alongside the SSA to the State Governor on SDGs, Mrs. Diana Ayo, with other FUPRE CSD advocates, where awards were presented to them in recognition of their impact so far. Dedicating his award to the state government's MORE agenda, Dr. Austin Obidi said the State Contributory Health Commission remained a major financer of health in the state and commended FUPRE for establishing a Center for Sustainable Development. Dr. Obidi, who was a panelist at the event, said deforestation activities carried out by foreign companies in collaboration with some locals, unbridled use of plastics, gas flaring, and other such activities that affected planet Earth and its inhabitants should be addressed by all stakeholders, including traditional rulers, while punishment should be meted on offenders to serve as deterrent. In his remarks, the State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejiro Jamani, said government must enact policies to transition to renewable energy, promote energy efficiency, and phase out fossil fuel subsidies, while businesses must embrace sustainable practices, innovate new technologies, and adopt circular economy models, such as individuals must make conscious choices in their daily lives to reduce their carbon footprint and advocate for change. The chairman of the Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, the SOPADEC, Olorogun John Nani, represented by Mr. Saboje Odin Newton, said man's everyday activity took a toll on the ecosystem, adding that such roundtable sessions afforded stakeholders opportunity to cross-fertilize ideas and chart the way forward in overcoming challenges facing the ecosystem and ecological balance. The host and vice-chancellor of the FUPRE, Professor Rim Ruke, said the university had 19 academic programs and 14 centers of academic excellence, one of which was the Center for Sustainable Development Goals, which had remained active in promoting the objectives of the SDGs, adding that the roundtable presented opportunity for concerted action and undivided attention of all stakeholders to address the global problem of climate change. The occasion drew stakeholders across Delta and Edo states. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has urged prospective direct entry DE candidates to hasten up and complete their registration. The board made a call on Friday via a post on its official X handle. It noted that the DE registration was still ongoing but likely to be closed soon. It will be recalled that the examination board had postponed the closure of its DE registration indefinitely after saying it would end initially in March 28 and April 25 respectively. JAMB then stated that the first deadline extension was to allow more candidates to register for the examination following some challenges posed by the security screening measures put in place to tackle fake A-level results. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Mrs. Abisoye Odusote, has disclosed that Nigerians will have to pay a certain amount of money to get the new General Multipurpose National Identity Card through finance institutions in the country. Mrs. Odusote made this known during an interactive session with journalists in Abuja. She noted that NIN is free, but the card will not be issued free. Mrs. Odusote said applicants for the card will have to request for their NIN through a self-service online portal or the banks, she added that applicants will have to pay through the banks to acquire the card. You're watching Delta TV News at 8. Still to come, Chad military leader wins presidential elections. Details of this story and many more will come after this short break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. Now the news continues. The global scene is next as we join our world news desk.
The United Nations today warned that aid for the Gaza Strip could grind to a halt in days as Israeli troops took their ground war with Palestinian fighters into the crowded city of Rafah, a key aid corridor for the famine-threatened Strip. Israeli tanks captured the main road dividing the eastern and western sections of Rafah, effectively encircling the eastern part of the city in an assault that has caused Washington to block some military aid to its ally. Residents describe almost constant explosions and gunfire east and northeast of the city on the southern edge of the Gaza Strip today, with intense fighting between Israeli forces and militants from Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Hamas said it ambushed Israeli tanks near a mosque in the east of the city, a sign the Israelis had penetrated several kilometers from the east to the outskirts of the built-up area. Israel has ordered civilians out of the eastern part of Rafah, forcing tens of thousands of people to seek shelter outside the city. Previously, the last refuge of more than 1 million who fled other parts of the enclave during the war. Israel says it cannot win the war without assaulting Rafah to root out thousands of Hamas fighters it believes are sheltering there. Hamas says it will fight to defend it. The United Nations aid agency says supplies were already running short and aid operations could halt within days as fuel and foodstuffs get used up. Chad's military ruler Mahamat Deby has been declared the official winner of the presidential election, legitimizing his grip on power. General Deby won 61.3% of the vote, according to the state's election body, citing provisional results, while his closest rival, Prime Minister Success Masra, won 18.53%. Mr. Masra had earlier declared that he had won a resounding victory in the first round of voting, and that victory had been stolen from the people. General Deby, 40, was installed as Chad's leader by the military after his father, Idris Deby, was killed during a battle with rebel forces in April 2021. His victory means that the Deby family's 34-year rule will continue. After the results were announced, supporters of the ruling coalition stormed the streets of N'Djamena to celebrate General Deby's victory. In his victory speech posted on social media, he promised to serve all Chadians. Just before the election results were announced, Prime Minister Masra claimed victory in a live broadcast on Facebook and called on his supporters and security forces to oppose what he said was an attempt by General Deby to steal the victory from the people. The results of Monday's election were announced 2 weeks earlier than expected. They still have to be confirmed by the Constitutional Council. Chad becomes the first of the countries where the military seized power in West and Central Africa in recent years to hold elections and restore civilian rule. But critics said with the election of General Deby, little has changed. Kenya officials are leading a nationwide tree planting exercise as part of a national day of mourning for those killed in recent deadly floods. President William Ruto has called on Kenyans to come together to plant trees, saying flooding and drought were environmental concerns. Speaking at a tree planting event in central Kenya today, he urged each Kenyan to plant at least 50 trees to accomplish the day's target of planting 200 million trees.
This exercise will continue ministry by ministry on a daily basis for the next 6 months. Every ministry will be in charge of a day for planting trees so that we can get to a target in time, and so that we can mobilize our communities, our societies to understand the importance of managing our environment.
Other government officials, including cabinet ministers, are leading similar exercises across the country. Flooding in recent weeks has killed at least 230 people and displaced more than 250,000 Kenyans. The government declared today a public holiday for Kenyans to plant trees and remember those who died in the tragedy.
You see him now. Where our governor they say more agenda, you just say a joke.
Indeed, now more for all deltas.
Yes.
I even hear recently say our governor sheriff Indo go inspect the Orere bridge for Ogilisad local government area.
Oh. That's good though. You know say governor sheriff don't talk about the government.
Hello. Of course now we dey very happy for the university. When our governor sheriff they build for all deltas for Ororogbe, Okwe local government area.
You dey hear that? Chai! Our governor sheriff now this month of May 29th, now he go complete 1 year for office.
Yes.
And it already the commission projects. For example, the Enwe Road for Isoko South, it don't commission up.
Yes, I'm aware. Even the 5-story High Court complex don't be ready for commissioning to also mark in wire and office anniversary.
Sheriff is working, and according to the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifeanyi Oswafa, he said Sheriff don't promise. So every local government area of Delta State will experience the more agenda.
Wonderful.
I mean, meaningful development.
No doubt it don't already dey happen because before the MA for Orogun Road, motor self not fit dey pass am. But now it be like London Road. And make I tell you, our governor Sheriff don already line up numerous projects for inauguration to mark in 1 year anniversary in office.
Hey, Governor Sheriff.
I love Governor Sheriff because it goes for the best. Take for example the ongoing flyover project in Warri. Man, imagine now Julius Berger handling it.
I love the way Governor Sheriff is governing. He's making sure all projects are completed.
More agenda. Governor Sheriff came prepared to govern with excellence.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Welcome back. Now the news continues. The State House of Assembly has commended the management of the State Contributory Health Commission for all the strategies adopted towards ensuring that more Deltans were enrolled into the scheme, even as it asked for quality assurance as the number of enrollees increased. The chairman of the House Committee on Health, Honorable Ferguson Onwu, made a commendation when he led members of the Committee on an Oversight function to the head office of the Commission in Asaba.
Other members of the House Committee on the team were the Vice Chairman, Honorable Emeka Asamuta, Honorable Festus Utwama, Honorable Perkins Umokoro, and Honorable Matthew Omonade, while saying quality healthcare was a key component of the more agenda of the Oborewori administration. The committee emphasized the importance of adequate and quick response to the needs of patients seeking medical attention in health facilities across the state, while assuring the Commission of legislative support that would make the scheme more attractive to the masses. The House Committee on Health noted that the government's goal on accessible and affordable health care in the state could only be said to have been achieved when health workers play their roles effectively and in accordance with the tenets of the profession.
The program is on course, and this program needs to be sustained. And we have vowed that we will do all that needs possible to ensure that this program is on auto cruise, can run without hitches. This is by way of legislation or by way of interface. Any intervention that we need to do to ensure that this program goes on, we'll do it.
The Director General of the Contributory Health Commission, Dr. Isaac Akpoveta, said the Commission's objective focused on enhancing access to quality health care, providing financial protection, fostering partnerships, and ensuring service quality, community engagement, innovation, and capacity building. He explained that the Commission had added private health facilities into the scheme as public health institutions alone could not meet up with the demands of the thinning number of enrollees.
We are appealing and we have appealed to the rich in the society to buy insurance for the poor in society. And surprisingly, people are responding very well. As of last count, somebody bought for 240 and somebody bought for 350 and so on and so forth. Today somebody called me and said you want to buy for 500 persons. And so Deltans are responding to helping their neighbors. The more agenda, the word more, is stimulating people to do more than they used to do.
Also speaking, the chairman of the Contributory Health Insurance Commission, Dr. Isaac Obidi, said the commission intended to enroll 1 million residents in the state this year, even as he called on corporate organizations and well-to-do individuals to help enroll poor and indigent persons and families.
Now let's join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
The International Monetary Fund has strongly urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to unwind the regulatory forbearance granted to deposit money banks during the COVID-19 pandemic. It also cautioned against the federal government over the proposed amendment to the Act establishing the Apex Bank, saying the autonomy of the central bank must be preserved. The position of the fund was contained in an Article 4 staff consultation report of the Board of Governors of the Global Organization, which was released in Washington, D.C., United States. Although the fund didn't give details on the waivers granted to the banks, it emphasized the importance of close monitoring of the institutions for financial sector's risk. The IMF asserts that the legal and operational framework surrounding monetary policy in Nigeria needs fortification. Furthermore, the IMF lamented the absence of a clear hierarchy among the objectives of the CBN, coupled with the inclusion of government representatives on the board of directors and potentially the Monetary Policy Committee as outlined in the 2007 CBN Act. This situation, according to the IMF, hinders the effectiveness of monetary policy operations and creates ambiguity in terms of accountability to the public. It also stressed that the 2007 CBN Act needs to be modernized as recommended by the 2021 Safeguards Amendment to enshrine the primacy of price stability and strengthen central bank autonomy and governance arrangements. There is heavy reliance of monetary financing on the fiscal deficit. The Nigeria Ports Authority (NPA), in collaboration with the management of the Truck Transit Parks Limited (TTP), have commenced move to improve cargo delivery by introducing electronic tags (e-tags) for ease of entry into and exit from the ports. In a statement, the managing director of TTP, Mr. Jama Onwubuariri, said that the new innovation comes at no cost to truckers, adding that the initiative promises to revolutionize port of efficiency and security. Mr. Onwubuariri also said that the initiative will address challenges related to non-compliance with minimum standard procedure.
The need for people to join the Rotary Club with a view to create hope to the world, especially at this trying time, was in the front burner of discourse by Rotary District 9141 Joint District Congress. The report.
The governor of the Rotary Club District 9141, Mr. Emeka Utebo, while addressing journalists at a press conference as part of activities to mark the District 9141 Joint Congress, which comprises of Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, and Rivers State, said, despite the economic crunch and the rise of cost of living across Nigeria, members of the Rotary Club worldwide have one major goal of giving hope to the world and showing love to people around them. Mr. Utebo noted that members of the club are united in ensuring the happiness of people in the society and doggedly alleviating the pains of communities.
Our Rotary International President Gordon McNally has asked us to create hope in the world. And I have asked Rotarians of District 9141, Nigeria, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, to create hope in the world with appreciation. The reason is very simple. We are always too quick to point accusing fingers to our predecessors. We are always too quick to point accusing fingers to our leaders. But we all know that making the world a better place is everybody's responsibility, not just that of the leaders.
The Rotary Club District 9141 governor revealed that the club had executed life-changing projects and programs in Delta, Bayelsa, Edo, and Rivers States. He said that projects are the club ways of showing love to society and changing living conditions of communities.
Rotarians are not rich people, but one thing I pride myself of being a Rotarian, and I want every Rotarian to pride themselves of, is that they are kind-hearted people.
On his achievement as governor, as his leadership of the body will be winding up on June 30th, Mr. Emeka said the unity of the club members who are proudly devoted to achieving the goal of the club and changing the fortune of people in unreached and suffering communities was his greatest joy as a leader.
In Rotary, we want to grow our membership because any organization that does not grow will eventually die. Our quest is each one bring one. This Rotary year, so many of our Rotarians, irrespective of the economic challenges, has introduced people into Rotary. The more we are, the less the burden for the less privilege. And if all of us bring one, we will be more people, there will be more people ready for service and willing to share what they have with others.
He enjoined others who are yet to join Rotary to do so, noting that membership was open to all kinds of people, as against the belief that the club is only open to the elites and wealthy people in society.
Elderly persons in Akukuibo in Oshogbo North local government area of the state have benefited from a health talk and health check program at the instance of the Redeemed Akukuibo Christian Fellowship. The event, which was held at the St. John Anglican Civic Center, Akukuibo, titled Senior Citizen Summit 2024, with the theme, Living a Fulfilled Life in Christ, brought together senior citizens of Nigeria within the age limit of 60 years and above. The report is presented from our studio.
Aging and prevent age-related diseases. Mr. Joseph Ugbolo, the convener and a member of the Redeemed Akoko Christian Fellowship International and Interdenominational Fellowship, has organized a health talk and health check for the elderly in Akukuibo in Oshogbo North local government area of Delta State. The event, which was held at the community town hall, titled Senior Citizen Summit 2024, with the theme Living a Fulfilled Life in Jesus Christ, brought together senior citizens of Nigeria and others above the age of 16. The convener, Mr. Joseph Ugbolo, said the interdenominational event was to put smiles on the faces of the elderly, as well as educate them of God's love for mankind. The participants received lectures on various health talks, including nutrition, exercise, and disease prevention, by a matron in Primary Health Care Center in Delta State, Tina Eleniche. In an interview with the coordinator at the community level for the Senior Citizen Summit, Mr. Victor Ugbolo said the summit was to spread the gospel to every part of Akukuibo community, as well as introduce them to the need to always know their health status and to register with the state government health scheme to enable them access free health services. Delivering a sermon at the event by Pastor Samson Omona, who took his text from Isaiah 46, verses 3 and 4, stated that God has promised to be with them till the end of time and advised them to hearken unto God, the author of man's existence. The event featured question and answer session where participants had the opportunity to ask questions and receive personalized health advice from a team of healthcare professionals. The highlights of the event was a health check where participants were screened for common health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. The organizer of the Senior Citizen Summit 2024 also presented T-shirts to participants.
And now let's join our sports news desk for happening in the world of sports.
Barely a week to the start of the 2024 Under-17 WAFU Championship, the head coach of Nigeria's Golden Eaglets, Manu Garba, has released the final list of players. The team had been in camp at the Go Project in Abuja under the tutelage of Garba, and they've also engaged in a series of friendly games. The coach today afternoon named the players that will represent the country in a competition slated for Accra, Ghana. The championship is slated to start on 15th of May. Nigeria is placed in Group B alongside Togo and Burkina Faso. The competition will also serve as a qualifier for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. The players are Adekunle Sunday Adediba, Sylvester Chizoba Chika, Daniel Ofonine Mendie, Destiny Samuel Aduwaris Yunus, Olawa Tife David Ekishola, Ibrahim Damilare, Edward Oloshe Ochigbo, Rafa Adams, Simon Cletus, Ariola Agbenla, Okori Marvelous, Abdul Muiz Adeleke, John Oguche, Adetola Korib, Chinedu Levi Dominic, Abdul Muniz Oladimeji, Daniel Vowero, Arieri Muhammad. Italy and Germany have earned a spot in the Champions League next season after their clubs performed well in European competition this season. With the Champions League expanding to 36 teams next season, UEFA said 2 of the 4 additional places will be filled by European performance sport, which goes to associations with the best collective performance by their clubs in UEFA competitions. After the semi-final legs of the Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference League concluded this week, UEFA said Italy and Germany are guaranteed to finish in the top 2 of the 2023-2024 Association Club coefficients. As things stand, Borussia Dortmund are outside the top 4 in the Bundesliga, but will qualify in 5th place. Dortmund are also in the Champions League final, where they will play Real Madrid, and should they beat the Spanish giant, they will qualify as winners anyway. Their German rivals and Bundesliga champions Bayern Leverkusen are in the Europa League final, where they will face Italian side Atalanta, who currently hold on to 5th place in Serie A with a game in hand. But AS Roma are also in contention with both teams on 60 points, while Lazio are 4 points behind. Premier League clubs Manchester City and Arsenal exited the Champions League in the quarter-finals, which hurt England's chances of improving its club coefficient. Aston Villa, who were knocked out of the Europa Conference League semi-finals yesterday, can seal the 4th and final spot if they win their next game to deny 5th place Tottenham Hotspur a place in the Champions League.
That's our news. Now a thought for today. Work hard for what you want, because it will not come to you without a fight. Major stories. The State Civil Service Commission has been charged to tackle the ghost worker syndrome, which bred absenteeism in the workplace and abandonment of duty posts. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori gave the charge today at the swearing-in and inauguration of the chairman and member of the Civil Service Commission, as well as the Auditor General Local Government at the Government House, Asaba. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has tasked the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to ensure that where male chairmanship candidates emerge from the local government elections, local government party primaries, the vice chairman should be a woman for gender balancing. Governor Oborevwori also directed that at least 3 female councillors must emerge from each of the local government across the state. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Mrs. Abisoye Odusote, has disclosed that Nigerians will have to pay a certain amount of money to get the new General Multipurpose National Identity Card through finance institutions in the country. We also reported that Chad's military ruler Mahamat Debi has been declared the official winner of the presidential elections, legitimizing his grip on power. That ends Delta TV News at 8. Thank you so much for watching. I am Blessing Usiagwada. Have a pleasant night rest.